Alright, what's going on guys, it's Rice here, and today I'm bringing a different type of video to the channel where instead of playing video games, I'm going to be describing them. More specifically, I'm going to be briefly covering certain psychological aspects that loot-based games have. I'll be using some of the game Destiny for explanation, but as far as the concrete gameplay goes, I'm going to be showing off Borderlands 2. Both are great loot-based shooters with an active and loyal fan base. First, I'll give a quick overview of loot rarity so what I'm saying makes sense later on, but then I'll dive straight into the methods that apply to psychological theory and experiments that have been performed in the field that apply to video games. And let's get right to it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to be using weapons from the game Destiny to describe the different levels of rarity within the game. So this gun is denoted as a common weapon, which means it's dropped very commonly throughout the game through the color at the top, which is just very gray and bland. And the name is a Soulless FR2, pretty basic name. And what that basically entails is that this gun is very commonly found, and if you kill a very easy enemy to destroy, you'll pick up a weapon like this 9 times out of 10. Alright, so same rules sort of apply for the next level of weapon, which is the uncommon type. As you can see from the top, being green instead of gray, and the weapon background changed as well to denote that. And this is called the Mitternacht SR3. It's a rifle, and it may be an uncommon weapon, but it's still a pretty common find in the game, especially when compared to the higher levels of weapons you can get. Things are only going to get better as you climb up the ladder of rarity. Here you see that this is denoted by a blue color on the background too. And you also notice that the names start to change and sound a little more badass. Like this is called the Stranger's Rifle, and this is categorized as a rare weapon. Now these are the weapons that people start to get excited about. You're like, oh yes, finally, you kill an enemy that's sort of difficult and they drop a rare, and you feel good about it. You know, it's a lot better than uncommon, it's a lot better than common, and it's a weapon that'll usually be reliable for your player. Now this is something to definitely get excited about. These are legendary weapons. Once again, the badass name trend continues with Wolf's Leash II. This is a rifle once again, denoted by a purple color instead of blue, green, and gray before it. And yeah, not much to say besides the fact that when you get a legendary drop, there is no better feeling, except boom. Now these are the Holy Grail. Denoted by a gold color at the top and a gold weapon background, this is the Gjallarhorn rocket launcher. As you can see, the badass name trend continues. And these are exotic weapons in Destiny. And the same rules apply for other games, as weapons get increasingly more rare. The stronger they are, the better stats they have, and the better the player will be now that they have them. They're much stronger than their predecessors, so exotic weapons are the strongest, legendary weapons are right behind them, then it goes rare, uncommon, to common. And it's important to note that as the guns get rarer, they're much harder to find and they're much more difficult to drop when enemies are shot down. Okay, so now we move on to Borderlands 2, and right here you can see I'm in a menu in which I will take a quest, which is sort of like a queue for me to go get my reward. As you can see, the rewards are highlighted right there in the form of a blue shotgun, which is rare in this video game. So I'm going to accept the quest, and right now I'm going to Sanctuary to begin it. So right now is where I started to notice the sort of Pavlovian response players have in terms of a certain cue and the response that immediately follows. In this sense, for Borderlands 2, the cue would be the quest giver, which is Tannis, who tells you to go pick up a pizza, as I did just right there. And the response is the entire quest itself that I have to do for the person who gave me the cue, which is Tannis. And the mission itself is to lure out a bunch of enemies with pizza and then murder them, as she said. So I'm gonna do that so I could get rewarded with this shotgun. And there are so many missions throughout this game that prompt you to do things for other characters just so you can get rewards that make your character better, and just so you can get rewards that are even better weapons. Say you have an uncommon weapon and a quest, a queue, can give you a rare weapon or even a legendary weapon. You're gonna wanna do that quest just so you can be that much better of a player. As I fast forward through the bulk of this mission until we get to the main point, I want to express the fact that the experiment Pavlov performed with the dogs, in which he used a metronome to let dogs know that their food was coming so he could signal them, that was the cue, and their reward was the food. But he measured this by using the dog's saliva because they knew the food was going to come. And I equate this to players knowing their cues, which is somebody like Tannis saying, hey, I got a job for you, because in their form of salivating, they just get excited about the rewards that are coming because they know they are there. When I showed the mission, the quest that I got at the beginning of the video, it showed that I had a shotgun. So that entices me to do the mission. So her Q triggers my response that leads to the reward, which is the blue shotgun that I'll get for completing this mission and returning it to Tannis. Alright, so here we are at the rat's nest, which is where I have to place the pizza that Tannis told me to do. And basically, it's a spoof of the Ninja Turtles, so like 4 rats are going to come out and I'm going to kill them. But by the time this is over, I return the quest to Tannis, and I'll spare you the expense of watching me murder these 4 innocent little rats that just want their pizza. So let's just do a quick jump cut to the finishing blows, huh? Alright, at this point the mission is all but done. I've finished responding to Tannis's Q, and now I have to go get my reward after excuse me, salivating for so long and doing this entire mission, killing rats, and now I get the reward, which is the rare shotgun. So just a quick little overview. Tannis gave me a Q in the form of a quest, a job. I responded to the job like the dogs salivate, but I respond by doing the mission itself. And the reward comes after that, which is a blue shotgun for me and food for the dogs. So at this point, all I have to do for the rest of the mission is go back to Tannis, let her know that I finished the mission, and get my rewards. Alright, so now that we're back at Sanctuary, which is sort of like the safe house in this game, I'm gonna work my way back all the way to the lab, right where Tannis stays, so I can talk to her and let her know that I completed the quest. And at this point, I should get the rewards that I worked so hard for after getting her Q and using my response. So right here, I'm gonna talk to her. And right there, you could see that this is the quest that I just performed, which is by the question mark above her head. Kill the splinter group, which I just did. And bam, there it is, the blue shotgun, the rare shotgun that I was promised at the beginning of the quest was given to me as a reward in the form of loot. Alright, that's basically gonna do it for the video. I just wanted to give one more sort of visual aid that'll help you understand and wrap up the whole video. Pavlov's dogs, by the sound of a metronome, started to salivate in anticipation of the reward, which was their food. When players play loot-based games like this one that hang off of rewards, they get a Q from somebody like Tannis, which is a quest. Their response, like salivating, is just performing the mission itself in pure anticipation of the rare shotgun I would have gotten, and the reward is the rare shotgun that I was promised at the beginning of the quest. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video. I hope this was sort of interesting. This is a project for one of my classes, and yeah, have a good summer. Expect more videos on the way.